Hello, welcome to Jerry Out. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jonas.
And this is Jerry. And today, Jerry is shattered.
He is shattered.
As are we. And do you know why he's shattered, Jonas?
Just basically starfishing on the bed.
Do you know why he's so tired?
Because you kept him up all night watching a very long movie called The Way Back.
Hey!
I got there in the end. I got there in the end.
Figured it out. Well done. I was like, oh, where are you going with this?
Yeah, so today's movie is called The Way Back.
Yes, it's 2011.
Exactly. There's so many The Way
Yeah,
Back.
Googling is such quite hard because
Way
there's Way Back, The Way, which came out in 2010.
Uh-huh.
The Way Back, which was like 2019 or something. That was really recently.
Uh-huh.
It's all over the place. It's quite hard to find on Google, but it's on Prime. Like we watched this.
Yes.
Synopsis. It's about 6.
Well, a group of
Gulag prisoners that are escaping in 1940s
40
Russia.
41, I think.
1941, I think.
1941, yeah.
And they escape a Russian gulag.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of spoiler free, should you watch this movie? No.
Probably not.
It's really long.
It's really long,
really
not
boring.
just in terms of pacing, but it is also just really long, and the combination of the two is not great.
So yeah, I think from now on we're gonna do spoilers. Not that there's much to spoil, but
Yeah.
if you wanted our like, should I watch this movie spoiler free? No.
Yeah, I think the whole them escaping is not a spoiler because that's
the premise of the movie.
No, and that happens quite early on. You know, that's not the climax. That's not the biggest reveal.
I think the first 20 to 30 minutes of this film, I was very invested. So it was kind of...
It seemed like it would be that.
But, like, they have all these different dynamics between the characters within the Gulag and, like, the trading. Yeah. And, you know, people have, like, power within it. Some of them are informants, so they have extra food and stuff like that. And it was really interesting.
Some people have the knowledge of how to get out or how to turn off the generator.
Then when they get, like, stuck in the mine, they're like, oh, you know, it's us. Or there's the badass American that's all like, I'm gonna go shelter in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they do it well.
Yeah.
And once they escape, like...
I don't know, I could totally be down for, like, once they escape, they also get chased down, or they have a conflict with villagers who are, you know, who want the bounty.
Oh, they could.
They could
They don't. I think,
none
like,
of this actually happens, so...
They try and be historically accurate. But Googling this to find out, because truth films are always Google.
Yeah.
The book has been called into question on multiple accounts.
Yes.
To the point of if the story even remotely true.
Yeah.
And I think when you do that, and then the film is really faithful to the book, it's like, okay, you're now faithful to a book adaptation of a story that just might not have happened.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of leeway there to, like, make a story that is a bit more interesting.
I can definitely see how it is just a very, very close adaptation of a book.
Yeah, like nothing's been cut out. It's really, really long. And I even thought, I remember, like, so they escape to a forest.
Yeah.
And then they kind of time jump a little bit, and they're, like, in a rocky cave. And I was like, oh, that's kind of an odd choice. Like, I would have thought we'd spend more time with them in the forest. Little did I realize we were going to be crossing deserts and mountains for the next 2 hours, because that time's get needed to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
But, like...
No, I think they could have just gone with escaping and their whole journey through Russia, and that would have been brilliant. We didn't need any desert. That was just more of kind of the same.
Yeah, and even when people do die, like, there's a couple of the characters die.
Yeah.
But they die so slowly. You're like, it's done. The emotions are felt.
No, I'm not even sure if they are, because it's so, like...
Well, any emotion that was going to be felt is done.
Yeah, I feel like you do see every single one of them die for such a long time.
Yeah.
That you as a viewer are also like, yeah, I mean, kind of saw this one coming. We didn't know which one of them, but we definitely saw it coming for pretty much all of them, so it is just a chance thing of like who it is.
Yeah, I think like so. I'm Scottish,
Mm-hmm.
and my ear for accents is not great,
Mm-hmm.
but like I can definitely spot a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
I think considering almost none of these actors are Russian or even remotely from that area,
Mm-hmm.
they all did a really good job with their accents.
Well, not a lot of the characters are Russian.
But they're
lot of
all
Polish.
Eastern European.
A lot of Polish characters, yeah.
But like, I
Yeah.
think they all did completely fine. Thinking like Colin Farrell and Saoirse Ronan, how strong their accents are.
Yeah.
Like even in like Lady Bird, Saoirse Ronan has a bit of an Irish twang to her American.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they did fine. Like the casting was all really good, and
Yeah.
Ed Harris, who just can't accent, and be like, okay, make him American.
Yeah, make him American.
Like that's fine. Make him super American, so it works.
It was actually quite jarring because I was like, no, he is very American.
He's very
He
American.
is American.
But I think, or like Mark Strong, another like famous British
Mhm.
actor, very
Yeah.
British. He did totally fine.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a little bit of a fan, but Colin Farrell's character was the only one, apart from Mark Strong's character, who was eliminated as soon as they escape,
Mm-hmm.
that created any sort of tension within the group.
Yeah.
And they hinted it later on that like the jokey lawyer or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or the teacher. No, it was a lawyer.
No, the jokey accountant.
Accountant, that's
Yeah.
the one. There was kind of room for that, but they always had enough food to feed him.
Yeah.
So it didn't ever become an issue, and it was all Colin Farrell's character that was itching away at that.
Yeah.
When he leaves the group and they cross the train tracks, that's when I'd end the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
they're
absolutely.
free.
Because, I mean, we did talk about this right after we had finished watching it. At that point, the only conflict is nature.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, that's a great conflict, but it's not a very engaging antagonist because it doesn't do much. Or at least the way that film is very realistic, it doesn't do much. So you do get a sandstorm, but that passes. You do get desert, but that's also
find
like
water.
it's desert, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like you get 2012 mega floods that
But
go all the way into
I
the
wouldn't
Himalayas.
want that. I just want some human conflict as well. Like, I think the film this reminded me most of was The Revenant.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a bunch of people walking through wilderness
Mm-hmm.
and kind of struggling with that. But the part of The Revenant that I enjoyed was not that bit.
You at least get a lot more humans conflicting.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the play between Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
in that film, and I don't care too much for We Are Walking. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything for me. It's very pretty,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
You can watch National Geographic if.
If you like David Attenborough, you're gonna love this movie. But yeah, there's a point where you're like, after an hour and a half of this, and you're like, there's still half an hour to go. Never mind the half hour at the start of the film, which is actually engaging. I don't know, it was a real shame that they had the potential for that, but they ended up
Yeah, and I also
doing nothing with it.
It is definitely weird in how they construct the characters or like flesh them out and develop them or not. Because I would also say that Colin Farrell's character is the most engaging.
Yeah. Yep.
But also not necessarily because he is the least shallow character, because I think the main character, Janusz or whatever, would make for a great and very deep and motivated character and stuff, but you only get that like at the beginning backstory of like who is he, and then at the very end where it's like, why does he keep going when he could just rest for a month or two? Then they give you a little bit something, but it's so just not at all character driven, and to not be character driven and not be driven by an active antagonist rather than by nature is just there's nothing to be like, oh, this is gripping me, this is gripping me.
It's when
like
they're in the
person,
village
no.
in India, or just outside of India, and they're like, oh, you can wait a couple months to get across the mountain, and he's like, no, I must go now, and you're kind of sitting there like, why? You have food, and he like returns decades later anyway.
Yeah.
So like they're in no rush. No one's looking for them. Presumably those Russians that were chasing them stopped chasing them that like the day after they escaped.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no urgency at all. It's just these
Mm-hmm.
people pulling away. Oh, they find a deer. Okay, great, whatever.
Yeah, the girl. Should we take the girl or no?
But that doesn't like. She doesn't cause any issues
No,
whatsoever.
I love that. She's been following us for days. She'll slow us down. You're like, no, she's been following you for days, meaning that she's kept up.
Yeah, and then like
Ah.
there's that like her and Ed Harris's character, Mister. They have like a little bit of camaraderie, and it kind of grows.
Yeah.
But it doesn't lead anywhere because just as when it gets interesting, she dies, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean okay, it's an adaptation of a book, so they probably wouldn't have changed a whole lot, but they could have definitely taken stuff out. I would have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff that I would have done that I would would like to see that would make this film so much more engaging. That is definitely more conflict within the group, and that could come from a lot of places. Definitely Colin Farrell, just like whatever. It could come from Saoirse's character,
But also like
just
the
like
accountant who's
adding-
like, oh, we don't have enough food for him, and then just as that is almost a conflict, they find food, like a lot of food, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But just push it one day further. You know, like you're not changing history. This probably didn't happen. So why
that,
not?
Like a day further, as in like let him die.
Not let him die, but enough that it's not just Colin Farrell like let's eat him, but like other people are considering like okay, let's not feed him because he's not scrounging for food. He's not cooking.
True.
Let's not go to the extent of cannibalism, but have like our protagonist who's like we're not going to kill anyone, we'll feed everyone.
I mean,
have an antagonist in terms of someone that wants to survive.
Kind of the same question that came up in Defiance, as in like we are doing more for the group, so we should
they get more? Yeah, and it's like okay, he's ill, you know, he is dying.
He's not essential to the group.
Yeah, do we let him pass?
Interesting.
I think stuff like that would have been way more interesting in terms of discovering human nature, which this film needs. It needs something.
Or I think it could also be very cool if they are all playing against each other. Then Saoirse comes in and tells everyone little bits about each other, and that maybe brings them closer together.
Yeah.
Or maybe
or separates them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it could
like that could. It was just such a. She's telling people about the other person and nothing with that, and that's kind of
or she tells her story like 3 times, and it's like, oh no, I lied because I thought you wouldn't be sympathetic. Oh no, I lied. So, okay, great, and then she dies. You know, and there's that bit where he's like, oh, can you swim? And she's like, yes. And then she kind of looks at it and goes, no, I can't. Sprints across the ice.
Yeah.
For nothing. Like.
Yeah, the stakes there weren't quite clear.
It was a really
like
odd
either we
sequence.
sprint across the ice and we swim across, or we walk for
a bit longer, and they just run across the ice, and they're all fine. Longer. Like have at least one of them fall in and be like, "Oh crap! Now someone's cold."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I do not recommend this movie. I'm glad I watched it. I guess I don't know.
Maybe it's a good book, but then again, I feel like
I think it's a long book.
It definitely feels like a good book. In the sense of it's definitely going to be super descriptive and have a lot of like amazing language, whatever. But it's also very probably not going to be an exciting book in terms of its action.
Not even, well, just stuff happening. Nothing happens.
Yeah, they walk. They literally walk.
Yeah. Oh well, I think we cut it there.
Yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much all we can say about this film. If you enjoy watching people walk through pretty incredible scenery, then yeah, this is the film for you.
It's not. It's not even that incredible. Like it's fine. You can just Google the Himalayas if you want.
Yeah. No, sure. You could. But that's kind of what you're getting out of this.
Yeah, that's fine. Colin Farrell does a good performance. Thanks.
But also not his strongest for sure. Like
definitely not his strongest now. Yeah. If you've got anything we should watch, let us know down below. If you liked this movie, leave a like. If you dislike this movie, leave a like.
Why would you make it up to the movie?
Well, I didn't, because it's like for both.
Oh, okay.
Big brain. Right.
No, but yeah, definitely send us some recommendations because obviously,
We were running out of films to watch.
yeah. So we are hitting some very weird.
Bottom of
films
the
right
barrel. Actually, to be fair, we're now at the point where the films that you suggest, I consider.
now.
We're not.
So we're at the very bottom of the barrel.
It's like, you want to watch Clash of Titans? I'm like, no.
I haven't suggested that.
Yeah, I can see your eyes glint every time we pass it, though.
Really?
Yep. Ugh, right. Bye.
So, Josh, what did you do this weekend?
Nothing. It's only Saturday.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Shall we?
Ready?
Yes.
Get on my level, man.